In the headlines, Appeal Court affirms Bashir Machina as All Progressives Congress senatorial candidate for Yobe North. Goods worth millions of naira destroyed as fire guts Onitsha market. Troops raid bandit camps, rescue 9 abducted victims, recover motorcycles and cows in Kaduna State. And away from Nigeria, Comoros' former president Ahmed Sambi sentenced to life in prison for high treason. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has affirmed Bashir Sherif Machina as the authentic candidate of the All Progressives Congress for Yobe North Senatorial District. Delivering judgment on the appeal filed by the President of the Senate, a 3-member panel of the Appellate Court led by Justice Monica Dongban Mensem held that the primary election conducted by the party on 9th of June is invalid as it was in breach of the Constitution. The court upheld the judgment of the Federal High Court sitting in Damaturu, Yobe State, which held that the President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, is not the APC candidate for Yobe North Senatorial District in next year's election into the National Assembly. The court had submitted that Lawan did not participate in the legally recognized primary election of the APC to select its candidate in the election held on 28th of May 2022. The appellant is to pay the sum of 1 million naira to the first respondent, Bashir Sherif Machina, as cost. A Federal High Court sitting in Yola, Adamawa State, has nullified the election of the Speaker of the Adamawa State House of Assembly, Aminu Iya Abbas, as the candidate of the People's Democratic Party for Adamawa Central Senatorial District for the 2023 elections. He, however, has the option to appeal. Justice Abdulaziz Anka, in his ruling on Monday, voided the senatorial primary for Adamawa Central conducted by the PDP. The suit was filed by Mohammed Modibo against the PDP and 4 others. Justice Anka held that the participation of the 4th defendant, who is the chairman, governing council of Adamawa State University, Awal Tukur, as a political appointee without compliance to the new Electoral Act 2022 violated the process. Hence, the entire process stands nullified. And still on litigations, a Court of Appeal in Ibadan on Monday set aside a judgment of the Federal High Court, Abeokuta, Ogun State, which sacked the People's Democratic Party candidate in the state and ordered fresh primaries. Justice O. Oguntoyin of the High Court on September 27 had directed the State Executive Committee of the PDP to conduct fresh primaries within 14 days. However, subsequent to an appeal filed by the party, Justice Folashade Ojo on Monday ruled that the lower court was wrong in its judgment, as only the National Working Committee of the PDP is vested with the power to conduct primaries. The PDP in Ogun is factionalized with 3 different candidates parading themselves as governorship candidate, but the party's headquarters in Abuja recognizes Ladi Adebutu as the governorship candidate for the 2023 general election. The governor of Osun State, Ademola Adeleke, on Monday sacked 3 traditional rulers appointed and installed by his predecessor, Adeboyega Oyetola. In his Executive Order 5, Adeleke reversed the appointment of Akinru of Ikirun, area of Ire, and Owa of Igbajo, and ordered security operatives to take charge at their palace. He said all appointments of traditional rulers made by Oyetola after 17th of July 2022 will be reviewed to ensure that there was strict compliance with due process of chieftaincy declarations and native law, custom and tradition relating to such chieftaincies. The new Owa of Igbajo, Oba Adeboyega Famodu, who was appointed and installed as Obad a week to the end of Oyetola's tenure, is the immediate past chairman of the All Progressives Congress in the state. The governor said that the appointments of Akiru of Ikiru, Ari of Ire, and Owa of Igbajo are hereby put on hold pending review. Now, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has said that it may be forced into another round of industrial crisis if the federal government continues to pay its members pro rata salaries. Although the union said it is tired of strikes, it, however, intimated the public of another crisis in the university sector due to the hard stance of the government on the no work, no pay policy. The University of Ilorin chapter of the union, during a protest rally within the university campus, said the policy is an attempt to turn lecturers into casual workers. They promised to resist this and appealed to all relevant stakeholders to intervene before the fragile peace within the university system collapses.
At the last time that university teachers received increase in their salary was 2009. And we all know what the condition of our economy has been since that time till present. So one of those things that we are demanding is that the government should renegotiate these agreements. And we also ask them that the government should terminate the use of IPPIs, the obnoxious IPPIs.
Let us unite and share our solidarity with ASU. We don't want to go back to strike again. Tell Igige it's not fair to us. Tell him it is not too late. It should be fair to us. Tell him ASU will not be fair to him when we write the history of this struggle.
An early morning fire on Monday razed 2 blocks of shops at the Kano Street section of the main market in Onitsha, Anambra State. Although the cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained, the Anambra State Fire Service had deployed its men to the scene. According to the State Fire Chief, Martin Agbili, a distress call was put across to the service around 2 a.m. about the fire outbreak, and he immediately deployed men to the area. He decried the increasing rate of fire disasters within the state and called for caution. Reacting to the incident, the Anambra State Public Relations Officer, Tochukwu Ikenga, confirmed that the situation was under control and that no life was lost, though goods worth millions of naira have been affected. He disclosed that preliminary information showed that the fire was caused by an electrical upsurge from a cosmetic store in the Story building. Around security matters, troops of Operation Forest Sanity have rescued 9 kidnapped persons during fighting patrols targeting suspected bandits' hideouts in Kaso village in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. According to the operational feedback to the Kaduna State government, the troops engaged the bandits on the Tantatu high ground as they abandoned their camp and fled further into the forest. During the course of the operation in the bandits' camp, the troops rescued 9 abducted persons who were held hostage by the bandits. Confirming the development in a statement, the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Ruan, said that initial debriefing of the rescued victims revealed that they were abducted around the Gurara Dam area. The 9 rescued persons, according to the Commissioner, will undergo further debriefing and examination before being reunited with their families. He also disclosed that the troops recovered 90 rustled cattle left behind by the fleeing bandits, stating that the recovered animals will be handed over to the Kaduna State Livestock Regulatory Authority for proper identification. A 27-year-old woman who allegedly stabbed her husband to death in Ibadan has been arrested by the Oyo State Police Command. The police also paraded other suspected criminals for robbery, kidnapping, and other related crimes. The suspects were said to be arrested after thorough investigation. Amongst those paraded is a 27-year-old woman who allegedly stabbed her husband to death over domestic dispute. According to the police, the couple had just returned to the house after being reconciled following 3 months of misunderstanding. All attempts to get the suspect side of the story was unsuccessful, as the 27-year-old woman declined to respond to questions thrown at her. In the same vein, the police also arrested some members of a secret cult for attempting to unleash mayhem on residents of the community. One of the alleged gang members said he has nothing to do with the group.
On the day of the incident, after 3 months of being separated, the deceased made a move to have sexual intercourse with his wife, which was vehemently. The deceased was stabbed on the chest, leading to his untimely death. The suspect has since confessed to the crime and unfortunate role in the incident. She will be charged to court upon completion of the investigation. Updates will be provided.
The guy that invited me to a party, so it was on Saturday, so I went to meet him at Saleoyo. So he was the one that asked me to enter the bus and he will meet me there. So I'm not aware of where we were going and I did not know the location, so he asked me to follow them. So we were on our way when the policemen stopped us.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how basket repairers are sustaining trade. Details of this and more after the break.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Appeal Court affirms Bashir Machina as the All Progressives Congress senatorial candidate for Yobe North. Plus, goods worth millions of naira destroyed as fire guards on Onitsha market. Now, in recent times, there has been this trend of people converting containers into office spaces, mobile homes and shops instead of renting them in plazas and other such places. To some, the popularization of the trend is because it is cost-effective, while others see it as a new form of technological advancement. In this report, Noel Samson gets to look at the views of Nigerians concerning the use of containers as office spaces, shops, and even homes.
The first mention of making shipping containers into small living spaces was heard in the 1970s. However, the mainstream popularity of this idea didn't come about until 1994, when the BBC aired a docu-series about people converting containers into office spaces. This has now become a popular trend in Nigeria, as such containers are designed into beautiful sights to behold. Hence, people now prefer them.
Look at the aesthetics of containers in the Western world, and the shops we have. Most people want to uplift the taste of their company or businesses, or where they use as shops to suit what they sell. So for containers or porta cabins, you'll see that you can actually design or retrofit or prefabricate to meet up with such specifications. So, and of course, it's mobile.
Inheritance, mobility, and it being eco-friendly are also some of the reasons why people now shift their attention to the use of containers as office spaces.
So I work with Abuja Environmental Protection Board. So this is one of our containers, which we have them in different areas in Abuja. So here is just like a unit, because our work is a field work. So it's not like an office, but we decide to make it so that it can easily be movable or transferable. It's not a permanent something that is being stationed. It can be taken away from here to another location. So that is why we choose using container.
For me, one of the reasons I approach this company is that to use these containers is that, one, it doesn't contain space, it doesn't take much of space, then the durability is there. It can equally measure up with whatever structure you have in terms of blocks. And most importantly, it's economical. It's economical, compared with the high cost of getting an apartment.
Shipping container office spaces can be redesigned and rearranged easily and can also be moved from place to place. This gives one the freedom to arrange the office space in many ways. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The repair of local baskets known as Kwando in Hausa is still thriving despite the availability of plastic baskets. Though the trade looks odd to many Nigerians, to the repairers, it remains a source of livelihood, as Bello Musa reports.
Local basket known as Kwando in Hausa is an old means of conveying goods, primarily in northern Nigeria and other parts of the country. Despite the availability of plastic basket and other containers, Kwando is still used by many people in Kaduna. Though it may look new and odd to many, these people at Bakindogo Market in Kaduna earn their living from repairing baskets. Despite the cost of living, I still cater for my family's needs. I have worked For the last 15 years, I have a family and I cater for them through this work. We repair all baskets and make it look new, or we change the size to either small or big. As the cost of living continues to bite hard on many Nigerians, repairs of this local basket is also affected by the economic downturn across the country. Our challenges are rising cost of materials, which often affect our business. I repaired 30 baskets in a day. The group urged the Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai to allocate a permanent site to them for their business. We want to have a permanent place where we can carry out our activities without inconveniencing other people. We are converting waste to wealth, and people and other authorities see our heap-up basket as waste, which is not so. We want government to allocate permanent and convenient place for us because we create employment here. Despite the growing unemployment rate in the country, these Nigerians are using their talent to keep themselves occupied and also earn a living. For these Nigerians, they are not just creating jobs for themselves, but also creating opportunities for others. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
A renowned professor of law, Patrick Lumumba, has urged leaders on the African continent to see the privilege as a call to provide service to humanity, rather than an opportunity to occupy space for personal aggrandizement. Professor Lumumba spoke on Monday at the 10th Olushola Saraki Memorial Anniversary in Abuja. He also underscored the importance of an enlightened followership that could hold the leadership accountable to its responsibilities. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
The audience is gathered to celebrate the life and times of a political icon, Olushola Saraki. The upside is to listen to a brilliant lecture by the renowned Professor Patrick Lumumba, who in his usual manner is telling truth to power. He reminds the audience of the dreams of the first-generation leaders in Africa and their dispositions towards governance.
Who would liberate them from the Egypt of poverty and want? Who would cause pillars of fire to stand between them and sorrow and want? Who would part the Red Seas of tribalism and ethnicity? Who in times of hunger would summon manna and quail from heaven? That is what they thought of their leaders, messiahs.
One of the key limiting factors is the fault lines and impediments to Africa's renaissance in the face of neo-colonial tendencies.
Economies are controlled by people from other civilizations. Why is it? These are uncomfortable questions which we must pose and confront and answer if the mother continent is to realize our potential.
Professor Lumumba, who underscores the need for an enlightened followership that can hold leadership accountable, also draws the attention of those in position of authority to the consequences of failure to meet the yearnings and aspirations of the people.
You may lead them in a particular direction. You may think that you have lulled them into a false sense of security. You may think that you have deadened their minds. But always remember that one day, if you don't do that which is good and right for your fellow men, there is a day of reckoning.
The memorial lecture, which has representative of President Muhammadu Buhari in attendance, draws audience from across political divides and cultural affiliations, and is coming in the midst of electioneering ahead of the 2023 elections. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And away from Nigeria, a court in the Comoros on Monday handed down a life sentence for high treason to ex-President Ahmed Abdallah Sambi, who was convicted of selling passports to stateless people living in the Gulf. Sambi, 64, was sentenced by the State Security Court, a special judicial body whose rulings cannot be appealed. Prosecutors in the Comoros had sought a life sentence for former President Sambi, who was tried in absentia for high treason. Sambi, 64, an arch-rival of current President Azali Assoumani, faced charges related to the alleged sale of Comorian passports to stateless people living in Gulf nations. Public prosecutor Ali Muhammad had said that last week before the elite state security court that Sambi betrayed the mission entrusted to him by Comorians. Sambi, who led the small Indian Ocean country between 2006 and 2011, passed a law in 2008 allowing the sale of passports at an exorbitant fee. The former president was accused of embezzling millions of dollars under the scheme. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for watching.